I've just had a wonderful discussion with Leon Levstik of Slovenia. This is how he is in the 3D world when we have a name and we have a country in which we are born. But just like his website, and his work, which is esoterictrips.com, we journeyed in so many dimensions, in so many directions, and yet always, as he said, it was a flow, a flowing together. I hope that you also, when you listen or watch our podcast, feel the same way. Let's flow together, and please do share what comes up for you as we listen and go together in this podcast. Welcome to
Okay.
Co-Creative Conversation from Co-Creator Circle. Welcome, Leon. We have Leon Levstik with us today. And
Hi.
I just want to give a little introduction about co-creative conversations, which are with change makers, with light workers, with people who are walking their talk and talking their walk, with people who bring inspiration and a new dimension into this world in which we are living. I'm so happy to be meeting Leon. I'm meeting you for the first time today, just as our listeners are going to be meeting you for the first time. And I think you're the first person I'm meeting who is from Slovenia. So that's very interesting. And your website, esoterictrips.com. And when I read about you, it makes me realize that it's a journey. Every time we meet someone new, it's a journey. We have weekly podcasts, but every podcast is like a journey. In fact, I know some of our listeners tell us that when they go for a walk, that's when they're listening to the podcast. So today, let's see where the walk takes us. And I'd like to introduce Leon as a holistic healer, a retreat facilitator, and a spiritual teacher. He is, for the past 35 years, has dedicated himself to helping people with their health issues. He utilizes 49 different healing modalities, each tailored to the unique needs of his clients. His commitment to his craft and unwavering dedication to helping others have made him a respected figure in the holistic healing community. And I met him in one of these holistic healing communities online, but never really met him in this way. Leon's passion for truth and light shines through in everything he does. He is dedicated to helping others awaken to their true potential and live a life of joy, purpose, and fulfillment. Through his vast knowledge and experience in holistic healing, spiritual teachings, and energy medicine, Leon can offer a comprehensive and transformative approach to healing and self discovery. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us, Leon.
Thank you, Meenakshi. See, it's still hard to pronounce your name, but I'm making an effort. Thank you for having me.
Yes, that was the first thing that we did today. We learned how to pronounce one another's names
Yes.
because and we also had a very interesting discussion, Leon. And I somehow feel let's start with that. And I asked you in this conversation or when we converse, how do you feel when the other person has a different point of view? Because in today's world, there's a lot of polarity going on, and people get
Yes.
very worked up if the other person has a different point of view. They don't even want to talk to them. What do you,
Yeah.
Leon?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't care if someone has different points of view or different opinion on something, even if I'm very passionate about some topic and that person has a different opinion. I tend, not always, I must admit, not always, I tend to accept that, try to see their point of view, if it's add value to mine, and try to be respectful, because we're all different. It's their path. If I can influence, I have free attempts. This is what I do. This is what I go for. Going by, basically. You tell him or her once, second, third time, that's it. I'm not wasting my time on someone to convince that he's or she is wrong with their opinion or whatever, because it's a waste of my time and waste of and it's stealing time from people that need my help. So I let it go. It's their path. Even if I'm wrong and they're right, it's my pet, it's their pet. So I don't have rights to influence this heart on someone. You give it the information. This is my opinion. That's yours. Make it evaluate mine, yours, and see what's right for you. That's it. So.
And sometimes one of us can change
Exactly.
our complete vision and make it maybe a little bit more in the center, bring the
Exactly.
harmony between them.
Yeah, even you mentioned I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm not always right. You know, teacher is not a good teacher if uh, he or she doesn't learn from his or her students as well. So teachers and students, they're always interaction between them, different point of views, whatever they need to learn from each other. It's always interaction. And for instance, a good way of representing this when the teacher is a student and the student is a teacher, it's in Kung Fu Panda.
I love that.
Master
I don't know
Shifu.
if those who are listening would not have seen it, but my smile is getting wider and wider.
Yes.
And it's reminding me of something, Leon, because when I saw one of your website, it said holistic, holistic
Yeah.
living. And my first website that I had made when websites were just sort of coming out, 90s, was called Holistic Living, Awakened Living, holistic
Yeah.
life. So
It's
this
not
is,
it's not
and
just health that needs to be holistic, and it's not spirituality. It needs to go hand in hand. So you need to have holistic nutrition, be aware of your nutritional needs at the moment and every specific moment, because it's, let's say, it's not changing day by day, but depending on what you're doing, how well you are, how healthy you are in general, and what are your let's say needs regarding your work, your workload and stress. That's change, sometimes daily. And just growing with spirituality, yes, you can learn from books, from podcasts, from YouTube, for whatever platform online, but you need personal experience with some teacher to reflect all the let's say the points that you need to work more. Not that where you're wrong, but where you need more attention. So this is when the teacher is also becoming a student, because students is reflecting to teacher his or her faults or insufficiencies, and they need to work both. And this is our retreats. This is like whatever retreats or workshops you're doing. This is always let's say a big push and big jump into spirituality. It's not just one line. It's when you attend the workshops or retreats or whatever, it's a big jump always, depending on the teacher, depending on the retreat or workshop leader, facilitator, and there are big jumps always.
Yeah, that's
So
what also I like what you said, that the student and the teacher, two people come together. One comes as a student, one comes as a teacher, but actually the teaching and the learning takes place both ways. So I love
exactly,
that openness that you have, even though you're facilitating the trip, but you also come out of it with a new consciousness.
exactly. When I facilitate a retreat or workshop or whatever with whoever, especially with my wife or my friends, uh, when you're facilitating, you're just absorbing and delivering knowledge or whatever energies. And when the retreat workshop is done, then you reflect on that and take all the lessons, because you don't have time. It's a 24 hours job. It's not just 8, 10, 12 hours when you're interacting with, let's say, participants. It's and it should be always 24-hour job. And this is, in my experience anyway, not many facilitators can handle that. Not at quantities of students they're having. So
Yeah, I think that's also that's the way I look at co-creator circles also, because when we have our events, it's very nice to have a number where everyone has a chance to speak and to interact, and
exactly.
this way every conversation becomes very meaningful. Because, like you said, we can learn from YouTubes and we can learn, and we must and we are, but
Yeah,
it's also so rich to learn
in
from
person.
one another, directly from the people that we meet.
Yeah. And this is, yeah, and you if you consider buying a book, please do, because we need to read, not just online and on screen. When you read on paper, it's more profound reading than on screen, whatever screen that might be. Uh, doesn't have any frequencies, refreshing modes. It's paper, it's there. Uh, and we usually take more from when we pay more. And usually books are not super cheap. Anyway, yeah, and having, if you consider how many hours you're learning certain topics or experience on online workshops, seminars, or whatever, the energies that you're getting and how much you're spending there, and multiply that time with, let's say, your hourly salary. And when you compare that amount to the amount when you pay to retreat or in-person retreats or workshop, it's more, you spend more time and money actually on free stuff than when you spend on paid, very expensive retreats or workshops, because you get a lot more. Because the jump on energetic level, in consciousness level, and subconsciousness frequencies, it's, let's say, 100-fold.
I completely agree. Having been to a retreat recently, which I really felt so rich. And when I was looking at your website, just reading about one of the retreats that you had with those pyramids. I know that you're going to Egypt later on this year, and we're going to talk to the readers a little, to the listeners also a little later. But the one that you had was not in Egypt. Where were
No,
those pyramids? I felt I was there.
in Bosnia. And when we were still, I think we were active and first starting to have any interaction was in Healer's Network on the, what was that, Clubhouse, I believe. Uh, and I don't remember the time anymore. It was COVID time. So we were all online everywhere. Yeah, Bosnian pyramids are different. Let's put it this way. During the summer, Northern Hemisphere summer, let's put it this way. So June, July, August. I have retreats, workshops. I'm mostly in Bosnia, at Bosnian Valley of Pyramids. Then in November, December to February, I'm in Egypt, India, then in spring in Turkey. This is the itinerary for me, where the weather is just hot enough that you can breathe.
Wow, that sounds so exciting.
Yes.
So Bosnia, you said, has got a completely different vibe. Is it a different
Completely.
vibe than the pyramids which are in Egypt?
Yes, completely. Let's put it this way. The pyramids in Bosnia are the oldest on the planet. Let's say this is the original technology of not just building, but everything as a complex. It's not just a pyramid, it's always something added to. It's not, there is no single pyramid. This is like in Egypt, you have one megalithic structure. You have megalithic structure, then add on like military complex underground. You have tunnels, you have healing chambers. It's a lot of stuff, a lot. Not many still are discovered. With ground radar, yes, ish. But this is huge. This is not official. Okay. Officially, they're 30,000 plus minus years old. Unofficially, they're a lot older. And there are from the Pyramid of the Sun, which is the center and the central pyramid for this planet, there are 146 pyramids around this pyramid as one center. And we have 13 centers like this in this planet in various states of preservation.
This itself, from what you're saying, sounds to me like a grid, like a crystal grid, a mandala. It's
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah, and you mostly know all the sacred sites. It's so the Bosnian pyramids, then you have Giza Plateau and the surrounding areas. This is two centers. Then you have in Africa still Eye of the Sahara in Mauritania. Then we have Uluru in Australia, Machu Picchu in Southern America, Sedona in Northern America. In India, there's I need to remember Ellora. Then there are two sites in Russia, Siberia. I don't remember their names, but one of them is it's not accessible. Period. It's so radioactive that not even the robot designed for Chernobyl can go in.
Wow, that's amazing.
But remember that asteroid that almost hit us, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? It's there. That's the, let's say, installation that prevented that.
Okay.
It's automatic, so it's, let's say, it's the shield radioactive shield, it opened up, radiation stopped for a moment. Let's say a cannon came out and shoot some energy beam to that as comet or asteroid, I don't know, and diverted it to another path, and it closed it again. That's automatic. It's impossible to get there. So, yeah.
So, since you mentioned robots, I want to jump into that other discussion I wanted to have with you.
Okay.
You talk about the 5D. You're helping people to awake to the fifth dimension.
Yes.
One, what is that? What is the fifth dimension? What is 5D? And two, how does AI and how do robots and all this fit into that?
Oh, that's a complex
This is
question.
a long, yeah.
This is a complex question. Sorry. Okay. We as humanity are on our path to ascension. This is ascension means we are changing dimensions. Now we are in third dimension and we are changing to fourth dimension. Okay? But there's always a but. Earth is a living being, creature. It has a name. It's Gaia Unoa. That's her name, and it's our mother, basically. She decided that she will go to fifth dimension, not fourth, but fifth. Later on, I will discuss about, we can talk about dimensions, not the complex one, but very, very, very simplified one, just to have an idea what dimensions are. But she can go without us. She doesn't need us. We need her. So, in order for us to survive in physical shape and form, we need to go through the same process. This is like, this is not just, oh, we're going to be enlightened and poof, we are there. The really good description of this enlightenment process, yes, it's in Sanskrit also, but and in Vedas, but there's also one other sacred book that talks about it really openly. It's in Quran, and sacrificing animal for that, and the bridge we need to cross. So now we are in the era and the age we're in. We cannot sacrifice an animal or someone else that will carry on us on their back. We need to go separately by ourselves. So there is no spiritual teacher or spiritual guru or whatever that will pull us through. We have to go by ourselves. We as teachers, you also, can help and teach others how to do that and prepare people for this process. But this is like purging our darkness from our past. So karma. And this is not just karma, and the whole thing is very complex, and it's a very long conversation to have. Next time, perhaps. And while we're ascending to higher fourth dimension, lower fifth, Earth will go with us, and this process is taking from when it started, and will finish. This process will take 222 years. This process started in year 2000 and will finish in year 2020, 222. Sorry, it can go faster. That's possible. We will not go longer. This process should be done in 3 days in 2012 for winter solstice. We remember that date. We all do. That didn't happen. it's still happening, but the process of transformation from 3D to, let's say, 4/5, it's taking longer, meaning that more people have a chance to ascend. Now, interesting, you heard about flat Earth, right?
About what, sorry?
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth, yes.
Yeah. So we have a flat Earth and we have a round Earth, spherical. Now, not everybody on this planet, not whole humanity can transfer to fifth dimension because of their pasts and who they are, basically, as energies and their karma. So, because they have different lessons than, let's say, we do, I'm referring to the humans that consciously and subconsciously decided for light. This is approximately a quarter of the humanity. So if you're 8 billion, that's 2 billion that will stay on Earth, on Gaia. So 6 billion will remain on flat Earth. Now, because God created, whatever you want to call it, Allah, doesn't matter, does have 6,666 names. So whatever you want to call it, you can. It doesn't matter. Love all the creatures in omniverse the same, right? It has to. If it doesn't, it's not the God. It's not the omniverse. It's not the creator. So, because we have so different lessons to learn, he created a holographic Earth. Okay? And when you do artificial hologram, you have to print it flat, then you can curve it. So people that see flat Earth, they're right, but the spherical Earth is also exists. So we have dualities, two realities. Let's say reality for darkness and reality for light. But darkness, it's not darkness, it's just a temporary absence of intense light. Okay? So eventually this flat Earth will be curved. So in these 222 years, we have same reality, but it's dividing. So we have two realities going. In 2000, we have the same. Then it started to separate. Okay? It's like this. It goes away. Okay? In 222, these dualities will be separate completely. There will not be interactions anymore. But anything in between, there will be interactions. Us, let's say, humans that decided to go with the light or 100% light, we will disappear or be enlightened, like in, let's say, poof, and we will disappear before their eyes, right? This is the last, how to say, blessings for people that need to learn more. But that's the problem for us. They will die for us. In real world, in Gaia, they will die, but we will disappear from holographic Earth.
They say that's what happened to the Incas in.
Yes.
Yeah, it has happened also to not all the Maya, but some of the Maya.
Yes.
It's just we feel that they suddenly just disappeared.
Yeah, but they didn't find any bones.
This dimension.
Yeah, they didn't find any bones, not as much as they should, because bones, this is, let's say, fairly recent, 600, 500 years ago. So bones should be still there, and there were millions of them disappeared from or Olmecs. They're gone. They're not in the same dimension. So, what are we in dimension? So, can I talk about that?
Of course, please do.
Okay. We are in third dimension, and let's say creator, one and only Father, Mother, the Almighty, whatever, it's in 24th and 23rd dimension. This is the most simplified. There are many interdimensions, between dimensions, in between. So we have 24 dimensions. At minimum, there are 7 interdimensions between one and another dimension. So in one interpretation, there are 144. In other, there are 500 something. Doesn't matter. Let's say 24. There are more. So in 23rd and 24th, it's creator himself or herself, or it doesn't matter. You don't have, it's not even an entity, it's everything. So when you go down into in lower dimensions, so goes the consciousness and the frequencies. So in 27, no, 20, 22nd dimension, you have Elohims, the ones that write Akashic records. You just write as it is. They don't judge. It is every thought, every mind, every action they do. They write. That's it. That's a huge library, if you like. So in 21st dimension, you have archangels. They have different names, different cultures, but let's say Archangel Michael, Uriel, and so on. And this here starts the difference between 100% light and light. But this difference is 0.11 zeros, 1%. That's even a thought, oh, less. It's so different. Let's say if you have the difference, let's say people ask me what's the difference between light and 100% light. Okay. But it's like there are two ways to describe this. It's you have you remember the light bulbs that we had, the old ones. You have 100-watt light bulb and you have, let's say, 60. That's the difference. Okay, just shines more. And 100% light, it's like, okay, it's different in different dimensions, but let's say it's the, what would Buddha describe as the string tends just the right amount that it sings perfectly. Okay? And if you ask me, how do you know the difference? Well, how do you know the difference between 100 candles in the room and in another room it's 99 candles? Well, you go in the 100 candles and go one back in the room with 99, you know. It just shines less. You cannot describe it, but you know it's not the same. This is the difference. The other way is to you have the hierarchy of light. That's the lower part. It's like from 60 to 90%, let's say, of 100% light. Then you have the light, the last 10%, and the 100% is 100%. But then you have the 3D and all the traps of this reality.
Beautiful. When we were thinking about, discussing this, and like you said, well, that's a vast topic, which it is.
Yeah.
You've explained it in such a succinct and a very beautiful, clear way. And I
Thank
feel
you.
that is really so important. And two thoughts came to my mind. One was about what is happening in the world today, and I remember the study in which I am right now in my office. Uh, I was, it was okay. It was sort of in an order, but I knew it needed decluttering. So when I started removing everything, it now looks untidy. Then when everything has gone away, it will be tidy again. And that is
Exactly.
something like what's happening in the world today.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a purge of thoughts, purge of let's say darkness, because it's more complex. It's not darkness, it's just absence of light in those beings, in those people. But let's say it's darkness. Okay, it's easier to talk. It's purge of our dark thoughts, of our purge of reflection of our past not so nice deeds. Look, uh, what's interesting, the God, creator, whatever, uh, gives us lessons, so we learn. But we need to confirm that we learned that, like exams in school. Okay, so who is giving us exams? Let's put it in Christian words: Satan. Who else? It's still Creator's Son, deviated from the light. Yes, but still, he has a mission to give us exams. So it's on us whether we are confirmed that we learned whatever lessons we learned, or we failed them. So he is, let's say, as entity, is he, sorry, a bad entity? Yes and no. Yes, because he gives us very tough exams, but we are applying for them. When you have a lesson, you have, let's say, very annoying person. You meet an annoying person, and you interact in whatever I don't know, you have in store. You interact with that person. That's exam. Will you react as, let's say, an angel or as a Satan? You will be nasty, or you will be, okay, you're not in good mood, you're whatever. I don't know, I don't need this, but I'm giving you all the love, all the light. It's up to you to take it, to accept it. And how you react, it's up to you. You know what's interesting? When you call, do you know Archangel Sananda? You heard of it,
Yes.
Lord Sananda. Okay. If you when you're calling this energy, you're calling same energy as Jesus, Isa, or Satan. It's the same energy, but energy of Isa, the Jesus, and the Satan deviates in 13 dimension. Jesus is, let's say, if you can express this frequency in colors, it would be pink, very bright, beautiful pink. But the Satan is very beautiful rainbow colors, all the spectrum, from deep purple to very deep ultra infrared. Sorry, very beautiful colors. But this is just the energy, and now we are in 3D with, let's say, physical flesh. And you ask me, how does 5D looks like? Same, but a little more transparent.
AI is another thing that is sort of dividing people today.
Yes.
Some people are very excited and happy and saying, "Don't write a book. AI will write it for you."
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
We all.
go to sleep and let the machines take over, the artificial intelligence. And others are saying that it's integrated into the higher dimensions, but others are very scared, that it's going to take
Yeah.
away our humanness. How do you describe it?
We need to be very careful about it. I'm more conservative about AI. I use it, not a lot, but I do use it. But it's just a tool. Sometimes when I'm not a very good writer, so it does write what you wrote about me. That's AI wrote about me, and I just tweaked a little bit. So it gives it personality. I put the funny thing is I put it free AI same text through A/B testing on Facebook, I think, and free versions of what AI wrote unedited, and free versions of AI wrote written text, but I edited. All free versions of AI that I edited were performed a lot better. And I ask people why, because it's why they like that free version is better, because it has personality. The problem is when AI gets out of control. That's problem. And the problem will appear when people will use it for everything. And they will get dumber and dumber because they will not start using their brain, their mental thoughts, and they will just go dumb, period. So yeah, to have automated process in, let's say, flying modes, still manual override, if you ask me, always. In whatever scenario or machine work, yeah, go for it. Help writers, check for grammar mistakes, whatever. Yeah, why not? Do the but the problem is everything else. Where it is so automated, and we're getting bombarded with so many marketing efforts from so many directions that our senses are getting duller and duller, and that's not a good thing. We need to be more and more aware of our surroundings and energies, and our emotions and our sensors are getting dull and dull, and people are not sensing anymore. They
This is
cannot
where
they cannot distinguish between good or bad. Just reality, virtual reality, it's okay for them.
So let me put another thought that's coming to my mind as you're speaking. Like we are saying that you're saying that the senses will become dull. So the senses that will become dull are the five senses, which are of the three dimension, this world. What if
Yeah.
when these get dull? So AI is in the way that we are looking at it, in the way you described it. I'm thinking of it as an exam, as a test that you were talking
Yeah.
about. What if when our five senses get dull, the other senses are able to wake up? Do you think that's possible?
Yes, they need to. Uh, but have you watched animation film Wall-E?
Which one? Wall-E.
Wall-E.
Yes, Wall-E. Yes.
It's the same thing. They were on Starship, getting fatter and fatter because AI did everything for them. And the marketing, red is new black, poof, everything new red. What the fuck? Sorry about the word, but yeah, this is the reality we're facing with AI. And it's not CO2 that's problematic with and global warming. That's not problematic. That's the change we need to do. But CO2 is good for us. We had not in 0.04% CO2, we had in tens. So 10, 20, 30% CO2, and life flourished. It was bigger. Everything was bigger. You saw this, these mountains in all over the world that are like tree trunks, but huge, flat on top, and always has some waterfalls coming down. This is petrified trees from the era when CO2 was in their 30s or 20s. But oxygen was also a lot higher percentages. There was experiment done in the 60s or 70s, I'm not sure. Scientists did this huge terrarium with everything inside, sealed, and so we are now in 21% for oxygen and some 0.04% of CO2. They bring that to 10% CO2 and 30-ish something oxygen percent in the atmosphere. Guess what happened? And they put normal plants, normal fish, normal insects, normal animals inside. They grew tenfold. The small house spider that is, I don't know, thumb big, it was like this. Fishes that should be like this one, they were like this. And the brushes that should be, let's half a meter or 1 meter tall, so 3 feet, they were 10 feet high. Everything grew bigger. Same DNA. It's like there was a serial in, I don't know, years ago, I think. I think was Adam, the title, that a boy and a girl were in the incubator in womb, all the liquids and everything, until they were 16. Their abilities, through the roof.
Wow. I'm just wondering, you mentioned those mountains which are flat and then water comes out. So in Venezuela, there's
Yes,
Roraima, Mount Roraima.
yes. In US, we have thousands of those
Wow.
eroded in various states. For instance, look, if you go to Sedona, you have 6 or 7 pyramids at least. Sedona alone, but the material they're made of, it's not high quality stone, so it eroded quite badly because of the weather. It's desert, and you have high difference between night and day temperatures, and then you add these very heavy rains with a lot of dust. Erosion does a lot of things.
I'm still a little bit about the AI. So it
Okay.
is already here. And you've said that the world is moving into the fifth dimension and that there is a choice that each of us will have to make. So would you say that this is a choice that we will choose to use it either to grow into the fifth dimension or to stay in that hologram flat earth, which later, would you say that's what AI
Yeah.
has come to do?
No, I think it came to the test to test us. What we'll do with it. We can grow without it, definitely. but we can make better products. For instance, chip companies like Intel or AMD or I don't know, NVIDIA, are using AI to simulate chip structures. So they're coming with new chips, with better chips, faster and cheaper. This is thing this is a good thing, because technology, let's say, for interstellar traveling will come faster, and we need AI to do that. But if you use AI for everyday work and activities, that's not good.
I want to also now move on to the trips that you do, your esoteric trips.
Okay.
And I know that one is coming up. That one is, but before I do that, I saw something that happens as a result of your trips. And what you've been saying, that I think that the way you and your wife, the way you teach and the way you guide the people, and the openness with which you see them, you see their light, and not just as people that you have to give things to.
Yeah.
Everyone must be getting a big jump in consciousness, for which then it's like reaching the top of a mountain, but then you have to go down and work your way again to that consciousness. And from what I saw was that you have then training sessions. So you walk with them. You continue to guide the people.
Yeah.
And that's really wonderful. I think that that's a very beautiful way of organizing a retreat and continuing to be with the ones that you are awakening, that you're helping to awaken together. Can you tell us a little more about the one that is coming up?
Yeah, I will. One question though. Can I talk how we actually work, because it's very important,
Yes,
why and where and how.
beautiful.
With retreats, the workshops and teachings we do, it's like, as you said, it's we walk with them. We all receive this, how to say, a big jump, right? With this energy push, upload, download, whatever. And everyone needs to integrate what they gain from that retreat, us also, afterwards. But the catch, let's put it this way. As we elevate our frequencies, let's say me, my wife, and whoever is helping us with that retreat, we do need to calm down a little bit afterwards, artificially, but not to the point we were. Because let's say if we start with retreat number 1 and we are, let's say, only 2 enlightened, okay, and we hold all the energies for the world, this earth. After retreat, we have, let's say, 25 new person helping us with whatever experience and energies they have. So as a humanity, we grew from 2 to 27 people. Okay, so we need to work less because they're helping. And with every retreat, it's the same. So we go up together with them. They stay up at their level, but not at collective. Yes, the collective level, but at the same time, every individual gets whatever they need at that particular time. But because we don't need to work as hard as we did before the retreat, we are not coming back to the same level anymore, because the collective energy for whole humanity and Earth elevated a little bit. That's the difference.
I've seen that, there is a certain retreat we've been doing every year. And I saw how every successive group, even if there are people who haven't been to that before,
Yeah,
they have all the earth, the ground, everything, the trees
yeah,
absorb that energy, and so they experience in such a different way than the groups before. So actually, every retreat does get the benefit of your previous retreat.
exactly. And if you look the Schumann frequencies, every retreat, let's say high quality retreats, whoever is leading, it has Schumann frequency spike every retreat. Not all of them in general, but high quality anyways. And whatever we had a group meditation here in Slovenia in our center, in our energy part, or we had a huge meditation in the Boston pyramids, whatever. If you look at the Schumann frequency, it's spiked, period. Always. Same day or the next one. And as you said, my next retreat is in Egypt from 22nd November to 3rd December. It's not for general population, but for, let's say, light workers, for healers, for therapists, more advanced, anyone that will be called upon. It will be very special. Will be in some exclusive areas that are not accessible by public, like King's Chamber in the Cheops Pyramid, but after hours. So no guards, no interference from them. We will have time for ourselves. And in Saqqara, in how it's called, I need to check it. In Serapeum, where the big sarcophagus will be there for whole day, have several meditations without any interference, and very, let's say, high level energy work will be done. So truly mission for everyone.
Yeah, I think when we post this video, we are going to give a link, and I think we'll also have a special session about it, so that you
Yes.
can give greater details and interact with people who may have
Yeah.
questions. Yeah, that will be wonderful. I wanted to know also, where do you go for your India retreats?
Oh, Elora.
Why Ellora?
Oh, oh, it's the same question. Why Giza? Why Egypt? Why Bosnian pyramids? It's a sacred place. It's one of the 13, like Mount Kailash, you know. It's the sacred place. It's where you can get uh, the highest jumps, you know. It's besides that it's crazy beautiful, and it has this monolithic structure engraved into the stone from one piece, from very hard granite that's with copper tools. Yeah, right. So, yeah, things like that, and you know, this is not how to say first life on this planet, so we're all souls helping humanity for a very long time. And for us, let's say for me and my wife, this would be reconnecting to lives then eons when it was before now we were this was all created. And Elora is a lot older than they think.
So when you're there, do you get the feeling that you were there and maybe you were
I
one?
know, not just feeling. I know.
Yeah.
I believe it or not, I remember most of our life, my life. My wife remembers every single life. Uh, it's not easy. Um, let's put it this way. Uh, not many people are coming from higher dimensions in this life anyway, down, learning from being a god like ish to being a human. But most of us, let's say everyone, we're coming from below, from lower frequencies because we messed up in the past lives, coming up. So we know how to be humans. We just need to remember how to be God again, or angels. So going from our darkest corners of our soul to our most enlightened peaks of our angelity.
Can you also describe a little about jumping back into this dimension? So you were born in Slovenia.
Yes.
I really know very little about it. So, like, for example, English. When I came to America, people would say, "Oh, you're from India. How do you know English?" And you learned it in 2 months or whatever because they thought that's how. And I said, no, India was colonized by the British, so our education's in English. So I'm going to ask you the same dumb question. How did you learn English? Do you learn it in
In
your
school. In school. So because this is this duality of languages goes from old times to 300 years ago, when we were still colony of Austria, let's say. And the people back then, if they need to talk, if they were, let's say, more higher society, they need to know German, period, and Latin. So now I was born in Maribor. This is the northern part of Slovenia, and we had two options: learning English or German. I opted for English, so and the whole school was from learned English. The neighboring school learned German. This is 2-3 villages apart. Primary school anyway. So we're learning English or German from 5th grade. So this is what 10, 11 years old onwards. Now they're learning in English in 2nd or 3rd grade, so 8, 9 years old already. And my grandson knows almost as good as I do, and he's 10. Okay, not as much words, but grammatically and accents, and he's better.
Well, that's so wonderful because, again, this is how we can look at something. We can look at colonial pasts in a negative way. And,
Yeah,
and I do see that happening now more and more as certain histories are coming out. You know what I
yeah,
was saying when everything looks tidy and then things start getting churned up. So India's churned up right now. And
yeah,
there's a lot of negativity being expressed and felt. But at the same time, this probably is the only positive thing, and nothing is fully positive or negative in our dualistic reality, but it is helping us to communicate.
yeah,
At the
uh,
same time, they say there's AI, and you
yeah,
see in science fiction movies that I can speak one language, but you will hear another language.
exactly. That's let's say I'm against implants, but if you, let's say, have a device like old Bluetooth microphones and speakers that you know, that's okay for me, you know. And but learning different languages as much as possible, as soon as possible, that's the way to go, if you ask me, because there was never ever better way to communicate and ease of communication worldwide. But at the same time, because and get information, you know, it's easiest ever. But um, but it's always but. uh, we always have a but behind our backs. Uh, it's never been difficult to get to the right people, get to the right people with the right message. You know, decades ago there were billboards, magazines, newspaper for marketing. Now it's easy. Wherever you go, you have some marketing going on, and people don't like that. And they're I'm not looking commercial spirit. I don't have a TV. I don't look at TV. I have Netflix, so I watch whenever I want, what I want. Period. If it's not on Netflix, I have another service. It's payable, and another that it's not payable. So yeah, and I watch what I want with what brings me some information from whatever past, as I talked to the Matrix, the Kung Fu Panda, the Wall-E. This is, let's say, science fiction cartoons, right? More or less. Yeah, but they convey very powerful messages, you know. For instance, when we're talking about AI for the Matrix, and when that person went from real life back to virtual reality, because he liked it better because it was easy. That's possible with AI, and nowadays some children, they don't care anymore. That's what I'm afraid of because of AI, because of virtual reality, because they are focused on very narrow space. In when was it? In May, we were in some expo, and they have 3 halls, but the main hall was connected to another hall, and through the stairs to another. If there was someone physical turning and talking to people, go see that hall. There's another exhibition there. They didn't see it. They were on the floor. There were guidelines, you know, lines to guide through. Then on the walls there were billboards. No, they didn't see it. Period. They didn't see that they were, sorry, 3 halls. And they saw at the entrance we have exhibition A, exhibition B, and exhibition C. They see only exhibition A. 90% of people. There were actual people turning them through the hallway to exhibition B hall B. What's crazy? Narrow-minded cell phones. Because focus, it's like this, and it used to be like this.
Yeah. And for
That's
those
scary.
listening and not looking, you're saying that it used to be wide and now it's become more narrow, the focus.
Yeah, because you need to be focused to receive and actually function, because and you need to dull your senses because it's too much information coming on. And people are getting more, at the same time, more sensible to other people's energy, as you said before. If we dull our five senses, 3D senses, so eyes, hearing, touch, and so on. We are dulling those so we can function. But at the same time, the other senses should and are going dominant, but they're dulling again because it's too much information, too much people, and people are going crazy because they start to feel everything and they're not ready for that. This is why spiritual teachers are necessary, because you cannot read this. Even if it's written, doesn't help you. Can explain something, but doesn't help. Because every individual sensation is different from every other person. So your abilities to sense are different than mine. Even if you are super sensitive about everything, not just 3D, but everything else, the energies, the vibration, the ultrasounds, everything. We experience that differently because we are different. For instance, my predominant body is physical body. So we have physical body, emotional body, mental body, and astral body. This is dream world, right? And my wife, she's astral. She's she's up there. And I'm here down ground to earth, and she's coming. She's, or let's say, reteaching herself how to walk. I'm teaching myself how to fly. That's the difference. This is just the language our body speaks. So she's extremely sensible to whatever through and emotions and pain of others. She can hear thoughts of others. So she needs to block those so she can actually function. So I'm still getting there. And yeah, it's if the humanity is getting more develop their senses, let's say this spirituality part of senses, from telekinesis to teleportation to telepathic speaking, light language, energy seeing, everything. There at this, because of so much information is coming down to them, they need to block those. And if you don't know how to filter them and keep them away, you're going crazy.
You know,
So,
one of the thoughts I had about telepathy, which they are, after all, thought waves, so we are picking them up. We may not
yes,
realize that we are. That's why sometimes I say everyone is empathic. It's just that they are unaware that they are. Sometimes we think we are feeling something, but it's actually something that we are picking up from people around us.
exactly.
So to really allow that to happen, so much clarity is needed. And I think this is what's happening in the world today. We are churning in a way so that we can clarify everything. Because if we are not very clear, we can't know what we are picking up and what we are actually conveying to one another. And
Yeah.
do you feel that there's there are exercises that you give, or do you give certain tools to help people to develop their extra senses?
Yes, I do. In my teachings or whatever I do to the groups, but this is specific to every individual. I cannot give you one general because we are different. As I said, my language is physical body, yours is more emotional, more astral. You have really good mental body, but your exercise for let's say specifically for telepathy would be different than mine.
Exactly.
Because you're speaking different languages than I do. So this needs to be adapted to your language so you understand it. It
And
can
like you
be,
said, that's why you need a teacher.
yes,
Because if something's just recorded, it's for everyone. But in a
exactly.
retreat or in a one-to-one or in small groups, the
Yeah,
teacher senses you and is
yeah,
able to give, give exactly what is required.
yeah. For that specific moment, same is for healing. When you truly holistic healing, does you cannot learn 49 different modalities in one life. It's impossible. Not in a good way. Ish. It's impossible. Not to be good anyway. So it's more activating past knowledge from past lives. So um, there are no two same patients. It's impossible. Even if they're in the, let's say in cancer, uh, even they have physical body as predominant and have same cancer, same tumor at the same spot in their body, spread as more or less the same way, the cause of this tumor it's different. And I'm not healing, yes, directly now, but indirectly, yes. Tumor, I'm healing the cause of that tumor. Why our cells mutated, are different, are altered. So I'm not telling my patients anymore, you have cancer, you have altered cells, because altered cells has positive connotation and tumor or cancer has negative connotation. This is what I'm very careful about because it's all about frequencies. Whatever you do, it's all about frequencies. Everything is about light, and light and sound has frequencies. So, and when you remove the cause of any disease, even if I don't do anything about illness itself, if that person got the lesson, change his her life, because all the decisions in her life or his life led to this state, so you need to change that to be healed. The body heal itself because it changed the frequency. So the tumor is reprogrammed from, let's say, cancer cells into normal cells again, or is dissolved and absorbed with the body and disappears. But this is permanent. So, for instance, someone has lung cancer because of where he or she lives, radiation. Everything is about stress. You know, mechanical stress. This is stress. You know, mental stress, emotional stress, chemical stress. So this is physical. Chemical stress is everything what we breathe in and eat, drink. It's all chemicals. So is it good for us or bad for us? If it's bad, it's chemical stress, period. And when you combine that or with radiation, with telephone, with electromagnetic, whatever, you know, we're bombarded with so many frequencies and radiation of different frequencies that it's crazy. So, and basically how good our immune system is and what we're doing to mitigate those attacks on our body. For instance, if you're in constant stress and anxiety constantly, you will get sick, period. Not just mentally, but physically. For instance, you saw my picture from 2 years ago with long hair meditating. In November, I lost half of my hair because of stress. I cut it to whatever this is now. But new hair is growing. And I was stressed about problems and about everything. Because I was for retreat, for instance, plan A, plan B, plan C. That's now. So best scenario, worst possible scenario is still acceptable for me. And one just to know, okay, probably how it's going to get some idea. But before I was plan B, C, D, E, F, G to there isn't enough letters in alphabet. How many plans I did? I was going crazy about things I cannot control. And it never, ever went to any plan. Ever. Always combination of whatever. And I learned, okay, I cannot control everything. I can control myself, my actions. Everything beyond that, go with the flow. So you react on the problem when the problem appears. And you react accordingly. So my preparation is for a workshop, for wherever I'm going, on vacation, whatever. Best possible scenario, worst possible scenario, everything within, go with the flow.
That's beautiful, Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what message would you have as we come to the end of this podcast for the listeners? You've given many messages, many inspirations.
Yeah. They
I
ask me this question many times. I
yeah,
usually get them control your ego, your alter ego, but I'm not giving you that today. Control your stress. Have a plan A, a best possible scenario for whatever, and plan C, the worst case scenario, still acceptable for you. Everything else beyond that goes away. Doesn't happen. Whatever needs to happen doesn't happen. Period. You need to have your spine. Period. You have to have, because you're just bending to other people's will. So, and have plan B for most likely scenario, just for your peace. This is, so if it goes this direction, okay. If it's not, don't care. It will go whatever needs to go. And if it's not happening, it's not best for you. But always, always do your best.
thank you. That's beautiful, Leon. I'm going to actually ask another question. Co-create a
Please.
circle. Our tagline is, and that's a mission, and maybe it's a vision, that we are co-creating a world that benefits all. Do you think that
Yes,
that is happening in the world today?
absolutely. We are co-creators of our reality. Yes, everyone has and creates its own reality, but as a humanity, we are creating our own co-reality, reality that is unveiling before our eyes. For instance, my reality doesn't involve any war, period. It doesn't involve any violence. Uh, it does sometimes comes close, when people try to attack animals that I care about or small children. That's my weak spot. I'm not easy to admit it, but this is my weak spot. Then I'm very close to bringing my dark side out. So that's not easy to defend, not coming out, to defend the light inside me. So we are creating this reality, co-creating this reality, and war in Gaza and Ukraine and all over the world, all the violence. This is the reality we're living in. It's there. So we are creating it as humanity. Us light workers, you, me, my wife, and others, members of co-creators circle, are creating different reality. Reality of peace, of love, unity, oneness. But we are few still. And with retreats and your retreats actually as well, we are growing in numbers. So more of us then the reality of our co-reality will be different.
Thank you, Leon. It's
Thank you.
so wonderful to have had this conversation with you because, when I see that we come from two different, three-dimensionally, we come from different backgrounds. And yet it has been such a beautiful flow of conversation. It's been so easy. It's been like I've known you forever. We probably have all met. We are just meeting one another.
Yes, in this body for the first time.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
And I would love our listeners to stay tuned and to share what you felt. What did you feel? What came up for you when you were listening to us? Did you, even if something agreed with you, disagreed, or a new idea, please do share. Because this is how we co-create when we engage with one another, when we speak, when we express what is in our hearts and in our minds. And yes, we're going to definitely give some more detail about Leon's and your wife is Siona?
Yes.
Yeah, Leon and Siona's upcoming retreat.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the channel.